When was the last time that you faced the paralyzing fear of the unknown? What did you do about it? I spent my entire life trying to avoid it, and I created a life of stability, security, and safety. And then one day, all of that came crashing down around me, and I stood terrified at the edge of the vast unknown. I thought I had life sorted out. When I got the offer to join my law firm, I secured a future of prosperity, prestige, and respect. And I'd wake up, I'd put on my suit, and I'd walk to the office each day feeling really big and important, but by the time I'd reach for that door handle, I was filled with dread. Months and years went by this way. I'd wake up, hit the snooze button on my alarm clock, not because I was so tired, but because I didn't want to face the life that I had created. When I envisioned moving into a partner's office, which was years down the road, but just a few feet down the hall, and I could see it clearly, my stomach twisted. Despite the appearance of success and having this clear and bright future, on the inside, I was empty and numb to my own life. And my doctor and my therapist diagnosed me with depression. This was during the pinnacle of my career. I was defending my client in a month-long trial in a $6 billion judgment. And when I flew home from trial, I was exhausted, overworked, burnt out. That's when the partner on the case called me, and he said, "We have great news, Danielle, congratulations. The jury came back with a verdict. We won." And I said, "Thank you." And before I knew it, I said, "I quit." After the initial shock of what I had just said wore off, I realized something terrifying. I had no idea what came next. Now, we've all had an experience navigating the unknown, whether we chose it or whether it was thrust upon us, switching careers, moving across the country, living through a pandemic. It can feel as though we've been handed a map, and the directions to get where we want to go are covered in a dense fog. The unknown can be paralyzing. It can fill us with fear and anxiety. In study after study, researchers find that any element of unpredictability dramatically increases participants' discomfort. In one study out of London's Global University, the participants were divided into two groups. Group A was told with 100% certainty that they'd receive an electric shock. Group B was told they had a 50-50 chance. And the results found it was Group B that suffered more anxiety because they didn't know their fate. Our brains are hardwired to perceive the unknown as a threat. Our brains are giant prediction machines, and they do everything in their power to find definitive answers, directions to navigate us safely along that map. And while eliminating uncertainty is a natural human tendency, it is exactly this way of approaching life that causes us to live small. When we retract into the safety of what we know, we stop reaching for our dreams, and we let go of what's possible. What allowed me to step into the unknown, after leaving behind a successful career, without a plan in place, without a job lined up, was one thing that I did know. I needed to live my dreams. And I didn't know what they were, but they were not waiting for me in that office. So I packed up my apartment, and on the wings of a backpack and a smartphone, I traveled the world, exploring this question: how do I create my most fulfilling life? And over 2 years in 6 continents, I completely immersed in the unknown, from language and culture to food and fashion, transforming who I am from the inside out, discovering my passions, becoming an authentic leadership author, speaker, and coach. But more importantly, I became someone who is excited to get out of bed in the morning. So in this side of that journey, I'll share with you the wisdom that I learned so that you can use it in the comfort of your home, in your life, without having to leave your career behind or travel the world. The key to living a fulfilling life is the unknown. It is only by navigating the unknown that we stretch and grow, finding out who we are and what we are capable of. So let's learn the 3 steps to transform the unknown from an enemy to our ally. Step 1 is acceptance. The truth is, we can't eliminate the unknown from life. Philosopher Heraclitus said that no man ever steps into the same river twice, because it's not the same river and he's not the same man. This means that life is constantly changing and the unknown is baked in. So let's accept that sometimes we are holding a map covered in fog, and that's okay. When we can accept that the unknown is a part of life, it does something amazing. It shifts our relationship to it, and we stop seeing it as something bad or wrong or a problem that needs to be fixed, and we see it as something natural, something that we can embrace and even get excited about. So when I left my firm, I could have jumped straight into another law firm or taken any other job. I was extremely hireable, but I knew that if I bypassed the unknown, I would also be bypassing the growth and fulfillment that I was craving. Because when you face the unknown, you grow. That is a certainty. And that certainty can move us from group B to group A, allowing us to relax and giving us permission to say, I don't know, but I will grow. So once we've accepted that we're holding this foggy map, step 2 gives us that clear place to start our navigation. And step 2 is slow down. Come back to this moment. When we're in the fog of the unknown, it means our minds have pulled us out into the future. And the great thing about the present, it is known. Think about it. What is happening right now? What are you doing? What are you thinking? What are you feeling? These are all answerable questions. And the answer to these questions tell us what is needed of us in this moment, giving us calm clarity. So after I left the hustle of the corporate world, I slowed down for maybe the first time in a decade. And I asked myself this question: what is happening right now? And what I found was it was not a live or die moment. I was standing in my kitchen, making a cup of coffee, looking forward to drinking it outside in the morning sun. It's one of my favorite things to do. And answering this question reminded me that I know how to navigate this moment. Now, there are plenty of slowing down and presencing tools out there, from meditation to yoga to a bubble bath. And I invite you to use any tool that works for you, but I will never add anything to your already very full to-do lists. So I invite you to use the question that I used. Ask yourself, what is happening right now? And notice that you create a space for calm clarity to drop in. So now that we have our clear starting place, step 3 orients our compass so we know how to navigate forward. Step 3 is lead from within. So we tend to believe that all the answers to our unknowns are waiting for us somewhere out there. And so we ask outward-facing questions. I'm sure some of you asked at some point over the last few years, will I ever take another vacation? Answers live within the framework of our questions. Meaning, when the unknown is built into our question, the unknown is also built into our answer. We get maybes, it depends, if-thens, hypotheticals, possibilities. Maybe I'll take a vacation next year. It depends on who wins the election. If I can get refundable tickets, then I'll plan a vacation. What we don't get are clear, definitive answers, directions on how to move forward. But when we shift the framework of our questions by leading from within, we point our compass inward towards what we know. Because the truth is, we already know everything that we need to navigate forward. So here I ask another simple question. What do I know? So there I was, standing in my kitchen, pouring my cup of coffee, asking myself this question. What I knew was how to make an excellent cup of coffee. I know just how to bloom the grounds in my French press and how long to wait before pushing them down. I knew I was glad to think about never drinking another cup of coffee in that office ever again. I knew I was excited, imagining where I might drink all my future cups of coffee. And so I knew that a fulfilling life lay waiting for me in those cups. So answering this question gave me my directions forward. I decided to drink coffee all over the world and use travel as my tool to explore what inspires me. And I still use these 3 steps to orient me through all of life's unknowns because, trust me, they continue to come. I might be done with the unknown of leaving my law firm, but I've since navigated getting pregnant and not knowing if that pregnancy would come to term. It didn't. Then holding my 2 children in my arms for the first time and expanding into motherhood without having a clue what that meant. Writing a book of my most intimate stories of transformation and publishing it to the hands of the world. Never being sure if I'm balancing work and family well. And then having my 3-year-old daughter come up to me after a talk and a book signing, a smile beaming on her face, asking, "Mommy, will you sign a book for me?" All of these unknowns have caused me to break down in tears, and they've allowed me to grow past my dreams and reach for things I didn't know were possible. So the next time that you find yourself staring into the fog of the unknown, I invite you to try these 3 steps. Accept that you are in a growth space. This is a natural part of life, and give yourself permission to say, "I don't know." Slow down, find that clear starting place, and ask, what is happening right now? And lead from within. Point your compass inward to source your directions forward. What do you know? You know that you have everything that you need, and you need the unknown. So transform it into your ally so you can create your most fulfilling life. Thank you.